Hi, boys and girls. In today's math lesson, we are going to be mentally adding and subtracting 10 and 100. Let's go ahead and get started with our math message for the day. Our math message for the day is the question, what is 120 plus 10? I want you to think about what strategy you are using to help find your answer. Boys and girls, did you say that 120 plus 10 was 130? If you did, you are correct. Now, I want you to think about how you solved 120 plus 10. What strategies did you use to figure this answer out so quickly without adding it on a piece of paper? How did you do that in your brain so quickly? Go ahead and take some time right now to pause the video and have a discussion with your class about the strategies you used to solve this problem. So, what strategy did you use to find the answer to the problem? Did you look around the classroom and use the classroom number line? You found 120 in the classroom and then you counted up 10 more? Maybe that's the strategy that you used. Maybe you opened up your math journal to the very back cover and you found the number grid and you looked at the number grid to help you find the answer. That's another way to do it. How many of you ignored the 100, the 1 in the hundreds place, and just added 20 plus 10? That's definitely a strategy that lots of kids use. How many of you just thought about counting by tens? Maybe you thought 100, 110, 120, 130. Oh, 10 more than 120 is 130. So the answer is 130. These are definitely great strategies that kids use to find answers to problems like these. So when you add numbers in your head, boys and girls, that is called mental addition. When you subtract numbers in your head, that's called mentally subtracting. Today we're going to be using some patterns to help us find some rules for adding and subtracting by 10 and by 100 mentally in our heads. What I would like you to do right now is to take some time to get your calculator out of your box and have it ready. We're going to be using the calculator to help us skip count, and this is going to help us find certain patterns. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to and get your calculator out. Great, I'm glad you got those out. What I would like to start with is I want to review the procedure for skip counting on a calculator. What I'm going to ask you to do is to start at the number 221. So go ahead and enter on your calculator 221. Now we're going to count up by tens all the way to 281. The way that we do that on a calculator is that we add 10 plus 10, and then we press the equals button. Now I am counting by tens. So every time I click on the equals button, it's going to add 10 more. So what we've just done is 221 plus 10 is 231. Let's click on that again. 241, we just added 10 more. 251, 261, 271, 281. What patterns do you notice? Did you notice a pattern when we were counting by tens with our calculator? We said 221, 231, 241, 251, all the way to 281. So, what pattern did you notice? Did you notice that the ones digit is always a 1? And the tens digit goes up 1 in each count? The hundreds digit is always 2. Those are some of the patterns that you should have noticed. Now, I want you to go ahead and click on the On Clear button at the bottom. You can even click that a couple of times. And this time, we are going to practice counting by 10 without using our calculator. So go ahead and put that off to the side. And let's count this time, starting at 221. And let's add 10 every single time. So I'm going to add 10 every time. See if you can see the pattern without your calculator this time. 221, 231, 241, 251, 261, 271, and 281. Oh my goodness, I see a pattern. Every time I added 10 more, my number in the ones place stayed the same. My number in the hundreds place stayed the same, but my number in the tens place went up 1 every single time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So looking at these two numbers a little closely, you can see that these numbers are the same. These numbers are the same. When I am counting by tens, the only number that will change each time is the number in the tens place. So look for that pattern. If you see that type of pattern happening, that means that you are counting by tens. Now, hold your calculator in your hand again. I would like you to enter the number 331. And now we are going to subtract by 10 and see if we see that same type of pattern with the middle number, the tens number, changing each time. So if we want to subtract, we're not going to press the add button, we're going to press the subtract button. So press minus 10 equals, and I see 321. Each time I press it, I'm going to subtract 10. So press equals again. 311, 301, 291. Oh my, what happened this time? I thought that the number in the middle was the only number that was going to change, the number in the tens place. Well, turns out I was pretty close to the borderline between the 300s and the 200s. And when that happens, sometimes our hundreds number changes too. Here I've written the same thing that we just put on our calculators. We started with 331. Notice something. All of the numbers in the ones place stays the same. All of the numbers in the tens place changed. And most of the numbers in the hundreds place remained a 3, except for when we went before the 300s, we were back in the 200s. So look at that carefully. Our pattern went 3, 2, 1, 0. The number that comes before 0 is 9 when you are counting by tens. And if you go from a 0 back to a 9, you're going to be in the hundreds number that came before. So here we are in the 300s, 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 300s. I'm at 301. If I go back 10 spaces, I'm not going to write 1091. I'm sorry, 391, because that would put me at the end of the 300s. I have to go, if I'm subtracting, I have to go back to the 200s. So if I go from a 0 to a 9, I'm probably going to be changing my hundreds number as well. So that can be a little tricky. I also said that today we would be working on adding and subtracting by hundreds as well. So if I'm going to practice that on a calculator, I'm going to put in a number like 527. I can program my calculator to count by 100s just like I programmed it to count by 10s. So if I want to add 100 to each of these numbers, I'm going to press the plus sign and 100 and then the equal sign. And I went from 527 to 627. Press it again, 727. Which number is changing each time I press the button? The hundreds number, that's right. And once we go beyond the hundreds number, we go into the thousands. 17, 18, 19, 20. Now we're in the 2000s. So as I add 100 every time, my number in my hundreds place, sometimes even the thousands place, is going to change. My 27 stays the same every single time. Let's say that I want to subtract 100. If I put in 809 and I want to subtract 100, I make sure that I touch the subtract button, 100, and then press equals. And it will show me the next number. So 709, 609, 509, 409, 309, 209, 109, 9. What if I press it one more time? It goes into the negative numbers, you're right. So when we subtract and add 100, the number in the hundreds place is going to change. Today, boys and girls, you are going to get a chance to practice counting by tens and counting by 100s mentally, not using a calculator, but mentally in your brain. You're going to get a chance to play a game called Addition, Subtraction, Spin. Your teacher will tell you the rules of the game, and you will get a chance to play that in your class today. Boys and girls, thank you for taking the time to listen. I appreciate your ears, your listening ears. I hope you have a great day.